Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of Generation Films. My name is Alan, and today I'd like to announce a new series where we're going to be looking at some of the most heroic soldiers in human history. We're going to be mainly focusing on science fiction, and we're going to separate this series by military rank. In today's video, we'll be looking at the most heroic sergeants in human history. At the end of this video, there will be two polls where you get to vote for your favorite human soldier that is ranked sergeant, and at the end of this entire series, we'll be ranking the top soldiers by comparing all the favorites from each rank. And this hopefully will determine once and for all who is the best soldier in human history. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe. We start out with sergeants because NCOs are the backbone of a well-oiled military machine. Unlike more collective and hive-mind military organizations, humans are at their best when they're given the tools and training to be able to problem solve their way out of a situation. Given the hectic and uncertain nature of battle, a force that is able to adapt on its own without bureaucracy or an unnecessarily complicated command chain will usually perform better in the field. And it is my opinion that there's no better place to find raw leadership than at the small unit level with a sergeant. Unlike junior officers and newly enlisted men, all sergeants have reached their position through extensive amounts of training and experience. Even if they don't have combat experience, the sergeant is usually wise and composed enough to serve as an anchor for any unit. They are the ones who drill the rifle squads endlessly. They are the ones that help nurture and guide inexperienced junior officers and, if necessarily, protect the enlisted men from incompetent officers. In many ways, they are the patriarch of the rifle squad, an enforcer of discipline, but also an individual who has the facilities to complete his own duties, but also spare his own time to watch over everyone else. A quick look at the militaries on Earth. No matter how well funded or how well equipped the force is, there is no substitute for a talented group of NCOs. They're the conduit that allows communication and respect to flow between the enlisted men and the officers. Now, before we start this list, we will be including all different types of sergeants. Drill instructor Charles Zim truly exemplified what it meant to be a sergeant. His cadence as a drill instructor was spot on, and his ability to strike fear and respect in his men was also quite impressive. While arguably his live fire exercises and enforcement of discipline have room for improvement, this is the mobile infantry, and casualties are to be expected, even in training. But what makes Charles Zim a true hero and a true sergeant is when the goddamn bugs bomb Buenos Aires, killing millions, he decides to re-enlist with the Roughnecks and join all the recruits he just put through hell, even if that means being demoted to the rank of private all over again. Zim wasn't in the mobile infantry to rise through the ranks. He was more than willing to give away his rank of sergeant just so that he could have another chance to serve humanity on the front lines and, more importantly, kill some alien bugs. A true team player, when faced with the prospect of serving under recruits he had trained just months ago, Zim had the humility to respect the chain of command and put aside his own ego. He fought with purpose and great skill and ends up being responsible for catching the first brain bug, helping to turn the tide of war for humanity.
Good job, Sergeant.
Thank you, sir. That would be private, sir.
Carry on, Private.
Yes, sir!
Sergeant Major Rita Vrataski leads by example. In the terrifying war against the Mimics, she was the lone bright spot for humanity. Known as the Angel of Verdun, she's killed over 1,000 alien Mimics in combat, which is an amazing feat given the fact that it usually took an entire squad of United Defense Force grunts to take down just one. The Sergeant Major is not a squad leader, but the pinnacle of what an enlisted soldier can become. A one-woman killing machine. Sure, she was infected by alien blood, which allows her to restart the day every time she dies, which gives her basically infinite amount of time to train and learn how to kill these mimics. She also had to witness her boyfriend die 300 times in a row, which probably turned her into somewhat of a desensitized killing machine. But the result was very few soldiers in the United Defense Force could use the exosuits at the same level that she could. But Rita's true character shines through when she one day loses the ability to reset the day. Despite being mortal again, the Angel of Verdun still continued fighting against the unstoppable Mimic forces. Ultimately, she helps train Tom Cruise, who had the power of the Mimic blood and Scientology coursing through his veins, and together they were able to destroy the Omega Mimic, leading the invasion. Sergeant Major Avery Johnson of the UNSC Marine Corps helped fulfill the stereotype that sergeants cannot die in combat because they are too old and angry and pissed off. And although he didn't have the same pedigree and enhancements that the Spartans did, he volunteered for the same missions and accomplished the same objectives. Born one generation too late, Sergeant Avery Johnson was actually a part of the Orion Project, precursor to the Spartan II project. The Orion Project left scars both physically and emotionally on its participants. Many of the individuals exhibited severe side effects from the augmentation process. Perhaps the most frustrating part of this ordeal was the success was not dependent on an individual's willpower or hard work, but a genetic roulette wheel. Luckily for Sergeant Major Johnson, one of the side effects he had from the operations was that it made him immune to the flood infection. Throughout his career, he faced everything from insurrectionists, zombie hordes, to even elite alien warriors, and came out on top. Sergeant Major Avery Johnson reminds us that as fragile as the human body might seem, it still can be hardened into a killing machine with enough willpower. And he always serves as a great mentor for the young Marines that are coming up after him.
When I joined the Corps, we didn't have any fancy schmancy tanks. We had sticks, 2 sticks and a rock for a whole platoon, and we had to share the rock.
Master Chief Petty Officer John 117 holds the highest rank an enlisted man can achieve in the UNSC. He's a Spartan II, one of the first true super soldiers created by mankind. In his armor, he stands at 6 foot 9 inches and weighs over 1,000 pounds, and is powered by genetically engineered muscles and a nuclear fusion reactor. I lied. The Angel of Verdun is not the pinnacle of what an enlisted soldier can be. Master Chief is the pinnacle of what an enlisted soldier can be. It is easy to quickly dismiss the Master Chief as hardly human and almost too overpowered for this list of mere mortals, but if you look at the type of mission the Spartan II signed up for, it almost makes the job of being a normal UNSC Marine seem easier. Whether it's suicide missions involving tactical nukes or defending a generator from hordes of aliens, or both at the same time, the Spartan IIs took on missions that were designed for entire battalions and armies. Master Chief, while never the most promising candidate, both physically or intellectually, had more willpower than any of the other Spartan IIs. He refused to lose and would always find a way towards victory, no matter how much the odds were stacked against him. And perhaps more importantly for any of you guys who question his humanity, John was an ardent defender of humanity and watches over the Marines under his care, even if it means risking his own life or, in extreme cases, even his mission. A powerful man should not just be judged by the amount of strength that he has, he should also be judged by how he uses that strength. Sergeant John Spartan, aka the Demolition Man, is the only member on our list who is a part of law enforcement. But let's be honest, in his version of Los Angeles in 1996, the LAPD is more like a military force fighting within an active war zone. John Spartan is a single-minded, simple individual with a laser-like focus on capturing and killing bad guys. That means destroying an entire city block, he's cool with it. But unfortunately, Spartan's overly eager trigger finger lands him in cryoprison, where he's frozen for 70 years. Luckily, 36 years into his sentence in 2032, he's given a second chance not only at life, but at capturing Simon Phoenix, the mad criminal who helped him get locked up in the first place. Spartan finds himself in a terrifying utopian society sans guns, violence, sex, and everything else that makes humans humans. The peacekeepers of the future city of San Angeles don't know how to deal with what they see as barbaric criminals from the past. So only John Spartan can handle the situation and the violence necessary to bring an end to Simon Phoenix. Staff Sergeant Michael Nantz of the U.S. Marine Corps was going for a casual morning jog on the beaches of Los Angeles and on the verge of retiring when the aliens first arrived on Earth. Hours later, he found himself fighting on U.S. soil against extraterrestrial invaders. Nantz didn't have an easy time with his platoon. Although he found mutual respect with platoon commander 2nd Lieutenant William Martinez, the rest of the unit viewed Nantz as the type of gun-ho sergeant who got his men killed taking unnecessary risks. And as the fighting gets more intense and the 2nd Lieutenant sacrifices himself to destroy an alien aircraft, the sergeant becomes in charge of the platoon. Through sheer grit and leadership by action rather than command, Nantz shows us that he is a born soldier. He also shows us the dark side of being in command. When engaging in combat, there's always the possibility that an individual can get hurt or even die. The commanding officer oftentimes is the one who is blamed. It is a responsibility that Nantz quietly accepts and shoulders in the most stoic and courageous way. But we begin to realize that it is not fair to just simply blame Nantz for the death of all those under his command. He simply is a soldier who was able to survive, and his only fault is that he did not die along with his men, something that he carries with him to the battlefield in every engagement. Even the best laid plans fall to pieces once the bullets start flying, but despite not having the trust of his men and a considerable amount of self-doubt, Nantz pushes on against great odds against a technologically superior foe and manages to find the key to defeating the alien threat. Staff Sergeant John Grimm is from the award-winning film based on a true story, Doom. As a member of the elite rapid response tactical squad, he is literally sent into the depths of hell, which in this case is a Martian research facility that has opened a portal to pure evil. Given the secretive nature of the mission and also the colossal screw-up that led to opening a gate to hell, the members of the team are led by Gunny Asher Mahonin and are directed to massacre every member of the research facility in order to prevent the spread of a virus known as C24. C24 unlocks an extra chromosome in an individual's DNA, and apparently if the individual who injects it is a moral and good individual, they will have enhanced physical traits and intelligence. If they are evil, however, they will turn into a giant monster. In other words, it brings out the best and worst of an individual. Staff Sergeant John Grimm, who from the beginning had opposed the slaughtering of innocent civilians, ends up being injected with the virus while he's near death and finds out that he in fact is a morally good individual and becomes almost invincible and proceeds to massacre several zombies, monsters, and even a demon. There's nothing like a virus that can tell you exactly what you're made of, morally. Sergeant Lucas Bastone is one of the few humans in the Imperial Guard who not only survived long enough to be named, but actually was talented enough to have his own dedicated lore and backstory, which is quite impressive given the fact that Imperial Guardsmen are the human equivalent of sandbags and are usually used for fortifying a position in the 40K universe. Born into one of Acadia's noble families, Lucas turns down the opportunity to become a commissioned officer. Instead, he joins the Guards as a common guardsman. While the Acadian shock troopers were probably one of the best equipped units of Imperial Guardsmen, they also were positioned right in the front of a massive tear in the warp and had to face the most terrifying warriors of the Chaos Legions. But that didn't deter Lucas Bastone's quick ascension through the ranks. He was an excellent tactician and, more importantly, had an eidetic memory. With each victory, Bastone was able to memorize tactics the enemy used and stored it away for future battles. But at the same time, Bastone never forgot the name or faces of all the guardsmen who died beneath his command. So there you have it, guys. Those are 8 of the most heroic sergeants in sci-fi human history. Let me know in the poll in the top right corner here which one you think is the best, because whoever you choose makes it to the final showdown. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification button. Also, my name is Alan, reminding you that life is a movie and you are the protagonist.